Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be explaining some of the blueprints in my prison level. First of all, I'm going to load up the shovel. The shovel blueprint is right there. And as you can see, I have a reference to the player character. And I use the reference to the boolean that shows the shovel, if the shovel is needed. And after you pick up the shovel, it changes that boolean to yes. It casts to the game mode. Then adds this for the windscreen that I will show later. That it actually goes down. Here's the branch when the player walks over it. It shows that you collected it. There's a delay, then it breaks. The file is the same way. I've made it exactly the same, just because it was simple. Let's see, I'll grab the soap now. The soap I made slightly different, but still basically the same. So I'm not going to go all into depth on that. I made a food item to give the player some health after taking damage. And if you look in here, here's my reference, just so I can make sure that it's the player grabbing it. Here's the eat food. And it's the same thing, basically the same thing as the shovel and file, but I added a negative apply damage to heal the player. Here it is for the windscreen that collects it and counts it down. And that shows the widget saying you have eaten food. And then this gives you a couple seconds to look at it, and then this removes it. Okay. I'm going to show the door with the camera on it. As you can see, I have it where a custom event to open the door, the timeline to actually move the door, and then down here I have it where the camera works. It gives a second, and then after the second, after it's done, it goes back to the player camera to continue what you were doing. This is connected to the button blueprint that's in the control room, which I'm going to go to. Which is right here. And here's my reference to the player. The button and door can be used multiple times. All I have to do is change their value. They have to equal. If you look right here, if they equal, then the door will open. And this is with the camera to make sure it goes back to the player. I made a interact interface to make sure it actually interacts. Just to have something to connect it to. Let's see. I'm going to pull up the inmate. There's 3 of them. Let's see. Once again, my reference to the player. Here's the talk. It's another interface. Right here is to make sure you actually continue to go through his set dialogues. And this is to make sure that you haven't run out of dialogues. If you have, it'll remove it from the screen. This is to make sure there is, if it's already created, then it's just going to show the text. If not, it's going to create it so you can actually see the text. This is to get the text from the variable that I have made, and I just put random stuff in there, which can be edited before I let people play my game. I have it doing it once, so the player can only talk to the NPC one time, and it actually go for the win screen. So you can't talk to a person 5 times and have it 5 times from that one NPC. Another one I worked on is my guard. There's multiple. I think there is like 6. And let's zoom out. Okay. It has a pawn sense, so it can actually see the player. If it sees the player, it will follow the player. It'll also check if it could attack or not. If it can see the player, it's going to try to attack. As it moves to it and it can attack, it'll attack and then it'll quit attacking, play the montage, delay, and then it'll start attacking again. Right here is where the damage is. As you attack, it'll start the sphere trace from one of the body parts on the skeletal mesh. And if that body part hits, it'll deal damage. It'll deal 5 damage. Oop. Uh-oh. Okay. Right, here's the event. If it takes damage from the player, here's its remaining health. Here's the damage taken. I'll subtract it. And it'll make sure that it doesn't go above its max health or below 0. Then I'll set the remaining health to that. This is a print string to help me check it. I could remove it, but I have not. And if the guard's health is 0, this is to count that it was defeated, and then it will destroy the guard itself. I also added to the player character. If you die, it will reopen the map. So if it takes any damage, it'll, same as the guard, they'll go through it. Let's see. Here's the E to talk to the player. It'll get any overlapping, and if there's an inmate there, you could actually talk. This is to make sure the interface is working. There's the condition. If it is, you could talk. And I'll go through the dialogue. See. Up here is where I added the player health bar. Add it to the viewpoint. Here's my reference to the guard so they can do battle. I also added these booleans to help with the blueprints themselves. Here's the punch button. It'll play the attack montage. And it'll only do damage after the second of the montage, so a person ain't just spamming the punch button and just redo the animation and kill the enemies too fast. I wanted to make it somewhat fair. Here's the sphere trace to track it. Here's the damage. And that'll be all.